Hi guys, this is our new workshop. We've been here a few months now. Let me show you around. So this is the office area where Alex and Gemma work. And then downstairs we've got the design area. So we've got some 3D printers here which we use for plastic parts, prototyping. And over here we've got some computers that we use for the 3D design. Matt was just doing the design of the latest bike here. And then over in this area, we've got some of the more physical stuff happening. So we've got a carbon fiber tube winder here, which we use to prototype the carbon fiber tubes, which will then be made into frames. And then over in this area, we do prototyping, we do servicing, repairs. And just here, we've got a few bikes waiting to have their final checks before going out to customers. So over in this area, we've got our spare parts. We've got spare batteries, chargers, wheels for the FLIT 16. And then this here is our test rig. So this is a new project. We're currently still building it. It's going to be used for doing mechanical testing on our prototypes. So we'll be applying forces to pedals, to the saddle, to various parts of the bike, doing many cycles to check the mechanical strength of the bikes. So with this, when it's ready, we'll be able to do the design, the prototyping, and the testing all in-house.
So I worked in London as a management consultant, which was fairly interesting because you got to work on lots of different projects with different businesses. But what I didn't really like about it is you just work on a project for a bit and then you'd pass it back to the company and you wouldn't get to actually do the project yourself. You wouldn't get to implement the recommendations yourself. So I really wanted to dive deep into a project and really get to grips with it. So the idea of starting my own business really appealed to me. And Dave was an automotive engineer with Jaguar Land Rover and also worked with some of the engineering consultancies around Cambridge. Again, like working on lots of interesting projects. Yeah. But I think one of the things you told me you found frustrating about JLR is they were too slow to adopt electric vehicles. So you wanted to work on a project that was moving much faster.
So we actually met in China, in Beijing. We'd both been working for a little bit in the UK, and then we moved to China to do master's degrees. I was studying engineering, Alex was studying public policy, and we both started chatting about electric vehicles, and we were both interested in kind of different sides of it. So I was interested in the engineering side, Alex was interested in the kind of public policy side, and one thing led to another, and we ended up doing an electric bike project together.
Yeah, it started off as a student project, actually for Dave's dissertation. And then the more we worked on it, the more we realized this was something we really wanted to do properly. So in 2016, we moved back to the UK, back to Cambridge, because we knew we wanted to do a folding electric bike company, and Cambridge is the capital of cycling in the UK. It's full of really great engineers, so great for hiring other people who are interested, and it's a really great place to start a business.
We wanted something that would be really interesting as a technical challenge, and a lot of the folding electric bikes out there at the time were either too heavy or not compact enough. And we thought it'd be a really interesting technical challenge, trying to get something that folds compactly but is still nice looking and nice to ride. And so it's really the technical challenge of it that attracted us to doing folding bikes. I think the best kind of two moments were seeing customers ride our early prototypes for the first time. That was really, really rewarding, seeing people kind of pick up on all the things that we put so much time into designing. The other really cool thing was going over to Taiwan and being in the factory and learning more about the actual manufacturing processes. That was really useful as well for kind of future development of further bikes.
Yeah, I think for both of us, we both liked bikes before this project, and it was a real opportunity to sort of get behind the curtain and see how the industry works in the background. Yeah, it's really cool. Got to meet a lot of people in the industry that we'd sort of admired from afar for a while, especially at some of the big trade shows and things like that. It's really cool. So other electric folding bikes, they've taken a few different approaches. Some of them just take an existing folding bike and then they try to electrify it, and you end up with a bunch of stuff on the bike that you don't really need. If you design it from scratch to be electric, you can optimize it a lot more. So for example, we've done things like we've integrated the battery and a lot of the electronics inside the frame of the bike. We're not the first to do this, but with some of the other bikes, electric folding bikes that do this, they tend to focus on like one thing and just try to do that really, really well, but at the expense of a lot of other things that you're looking for in a folding e-bike. So like an example of this is an e-bike like the Hummingbird, which is a really great folding e-bike, but they've really just focused on getting the weight as low as possible. And the result is it doesn't fold that small and it's really, really expensive. We tried to balance things like the cost, the weight, the folded size, features like being able to roll it, all the things that are really practical on a folding e-bike for example, a commuter who needs to use it for a practical purpose to get a job done. So we had a pretty good split between them in the end. It was about half gray, 1/3 orange, and 1/6 blue.
Quite recent for me, actually. Just before COVID, I went to Japan and visited my friend. We cycled from Osaka to Kyoto, which is all along the river. It's really, really beautiful scenery.
So after uni, I got into tour cycling with some friends in a big way. So we did quite a big trip coast to coast across America. So Vancouver in Canada to New York City. Took about 2 months. Yeah, really nice trip. Went across the Rockies, across the Great Plains, and all along the sort of canals of Northeast America as well.
It's just great to be able to do more of the physical prototyping in-house. So before we were working in a small office where we had a few 3D printers, but it was pretty small. There's no space for interesting machinery. Like now we've got a carbon fiber tube winder, so we can make our own tubes. We got all the bike tools. We can do servicing in-house. We can do testing in-house over there. We're building a test rig, so we can do some of the physical tests as well. So yeah, it's just really sped up our product development cycle. So of course, it's always great to have a workshop, but it's also really speeding up the way we develop new products. So many to choose from. There's so much good stuff. I quite like spicy food, so hot pot was really good. There's a place called Janliang that does like malatan, the kind of spicy soup thing where you choose all your ingredients and then you put it in the soup. That's amazing because it's like very, very cheap, but very, very filling. So yeah, I used to go there quite often.
Yeah, and living in Beijing, one of the great things is it's a big capital city and people move there from all over China. So everyone brings their hometown food to Beijing. So within that one city, you could sample pretty much the whole range of Chinese cuisine. So I really liked Sichuanese food, and also a lot of the Xinjiang restaurants in Beijing are really, really good. Somewhere Dave and I used to eat together all the time was a shabu shabu hot pot restaurant on campus. So that was probably one of the best places. We used to go there, talk about ideas. I think that's where I first met Dave's wife. Yeah. I think when you start a company like this, like we're trying to make folding e-bikes, so we're competing against some pretty big companies. And at the start, it was just me and Dave, literally around a kitchen table. So one of the hardest things is just convincing people that you've got a good idea and that you're not completely crazy. So that's building a team, attracting investors, getting all the sort of support you need in place to actually start building the company when you literally start with nothing.
I think on the technical side as well, designing the bike is one thing, but taking it through to manufacture, that was the big challenge. Some of the early challenges around prototyping, we didn't have expertise in welding, tube bending, all these kind of processes. So finding that, and it's quite a steep learning curve, picking up all the skills and all the context that you need to be effective at doing that. That's probably the most challenging period. Well, we got a lot in the pipeline. So we're currently working on a new project. Really looking forward to revealing that and telling you more about it. We're looking at new materials, new processes. We're doing a lot more in-house this time round. So yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah, for the new bike we're working on, we're getting into the closing design stages for the first prototype. And we're hoping to reveal that to you bit by bit in the next few months.
Oh, it's going to be good.
What's the split between the colours in the founder's batch?
So we had a pretty good split between the colours. About half the bikes were grey, a third of them were orange, and 1/6 were blue.
I think we had a few pink ones as well.
What's the best cycling trip you've done?
Quite recently, actually, for me. Just before COVID, I went to see a friend in Japan, and he lives in Nagoya, but we cycled from Osaka to, well, it's irrelevant information, isn't it, really, that he lives in Nagoya? It's just, nobody wants to know that.
Okay, what's the best part of having your own workshop?
It is so awesome having our own workshop. For a long time, we were working out of an office, and you could barely swing a cat in there. It's tiny. What's wrong with that one? That's an alright turn of phrase, isn't it? The workshop. Oh, I love it. Is that enough?